it's steady for the market. So let's get talking to a couple of companies then. Shalby is one company which is in focus. The hospital is possibly eyeing key acquisitions in markets such as Delhi and Kolkata to cater more to the influx of international patients and the possibility of them growing from Bangladesh as well as Nepal. Shanay Shah, who's the president of Shalby, joins in to discuss this in detail. Shanay, hi, welcome to the show. This is Ekta. If you could start by just telling us about what the plans is when it comes to acquisitions. You all are looking at markets such as Delhi and, therapies which are not core to you all, which is basically, orthopedics. 40% of your revenue is from there. So you're looking to diversify. Tell us your plans and tell us how exactly are you probably going to even fund these acquisitions.
Sure. Good afternoon, Ekta. Thank you for having me here. I think you're right. We are looking at Delhi and Calcutta as potential markets for us. The reason why we are looking out at the moment is because, we had an internal benchmark of reaching a certain level of ROCEs, after our listing, until we kind of go for further acquisitions. And, at the moment, we are at about 16 to 18% ROCE for the hospital business, and that is the reason we are looking out now for potential acquisitions that can be value accretive to the group. These markets, as you correctly mentioned, drain a lot of medical tourism from across the SAARC region, as well as Delhi is very well connected to many other countries as well. So we do believe that these will add, these will be good strategic fitments for the group. With regards to the focus on orthopedics, yes, so Delhi and Calcutta will be multi-speciality hospitals, which is what we've been doing for the last several years. The new business model that we've come out with is the franchisee model. And through the franchisee model, we will kind of establish standalone orthopedics centers of excellence, which are 30 to 40 bed in not only metros, but tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 towns as well. And here we'll be focusing on the entire orthopedic specialty, which is knee and hip replacement, spine surgeries, trauma, arthroscopic surgeries, and emergency care.
So, Shanay, what would the size of this acquisition be? You have around 125 crore rupees in your books. And since we are talking about international medical tourism picking up, how much has it improved for you, say, versus COVID levels? Is it back to pre-COVID levels?
Yeah, we are sitting on more than 200 crores of investments as we talk today. Of course, we have a certain amount of debt, which is why the net cash is slightly on the lower side. Having said that, international medical tourism has been picking up significantly, after January. So January, we had the Omicron wave, because of which, I think, a lot of people would not travel during that quarter. But I think from quarter one onwards, we've started seeing a huge jump from the international markets, including Nepal, Bangladesh, as well as the East African countries like Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, etc.
Okay, so traditionally,
and what we also see is that we are expecting over the next 5 years, we'll be seeing a 15 to 20% growth year on year, for the international medical tourism market. Now it's up to the hospital operators to see how much they can make out of this opportunity.
Okay, so 15 to 20% growth is what you're expecting, at least in the international patients market. So that's a strong growth expected. But Shanay, if you could just dwell a little further, because generally you all have been quite positive on this whole franchisee model of CapEx, and that's what you've been focusing on. Is that changing now? Are you going to have a mix of franchise and acquisitions, or do you think that acquisitions is probably the way to go, where you probably have more management control, whereas you don't have that as much in a franchisee model?
Yeah, so the way we would look at it is we would be now operating, Shalby would be operating 3 major verticals. One is the traditional multi-speciality hospital business, where we will be expanding, which are all multi-speciality hospitals, 200 to 250 beds each. We run 10 of those. We will be adding 2, which is Mumbai and Nashik soon, and Delhi and Calcutta, of course, is in the radar. So this would be one of the segments. The second segment would be the implant business that we know of, that we operate from California. So that is the second business vertical. And the third business vertical will be the franchisee business, which is going to be only orthopedic focused. And these will be smaller standalone hospitals as we discussed, and these will be on an asset-light model. So you're right, this is going to be asset-light for us. We already have 2 franchisees operational in Udaipur and Ahmedabad, and we are going to start Lucknow in next month. And by the end of this year, we will be starting Gwalior, Rajkot, as well as Kanpur.
Okay, so Shanay, in these 2 segments, I'm not talking about the traditional business. Let's say talk about implants business. You did 26 crores of revenues in quarter 1, eyeing 100 crores in FY23. What is the long-term growth that you're expecting here? Also in the franchisee model, it is asset light, but in that case, what kind of growth do you expect in this particular segment?
See, for the implant business, we are very, very bullish. In fact, the way we see things is, in the next 5 to 6 years, we have a target of reaching about 600 to 700 crores in the medical implant business. And the primary growth drivers there would be the US business, as well as the Indian market and some of the Southeast Asian countries. And we have built an ecosystem around, building this business, and a lot of resources in terms of time as well as capital are being pumped into this business. This company that we acquired has been traditionally doing business. So it has been a 27-year-old company and is very well established in the US and Japan market. So it is going to be slightly easier for us to penetrate those markets. India, we have a lot of captive consumption as well, but the idea is to really kind of promote these implants to other hospitals and doctors within the country as well. So we believe the potential is huge in this business. Coming to the franchisee business, we genuinely believe that the growth potential there is significant, but I will not talk about the numbers on the franchisee business because these are still early days. So I think over the next 6 to 12 months, we'll be in a much better position to give numbers and outlook on that business.
Okay, it's interesting, Shanay, because you're looking at a brick and mortar business really, which is in a way parallel to what you do, which is basically the implants business, whereas all of your peers are looking to get into the services part of the hospital space, which is basically ancillary services such as diagnostics, home care. That is something that doesn't interest you, say getting into something such as diagnostics, even home care, or any other parallel service to the hospital?
See, we believe that, we want to focus on our strengths, and our strength is orthopedics, where we are globally the #1 player in orthopedics. So, with the run rate that we are going in, we'll be doing between 14 to 15,000 knee and hip replacements this year. The next highest globally is done by Hospital for Special Surgery or maybe Rothschild in the US, and they do about 1/3 the number that we are doing. So that is the kind of advantage we are at this point of time. So how do we make the most out of it? So we see 2 ways. One is the franchising business, where the potential is massive in terms of the opportunity that we are sitting on in India in tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 towns. Where we can capitalize on all the 5 segments that I mentioned within the orthopedics business. So that is something which can be a huge number over the next 3 to 5 years. And the second one is the implant business, where the internal captive consumption is huge. There are huge supply chain issues which are there in the market right now, which the top 5 companies, top 6 companies are facing. The idea is how we can leverage on that and create a market in it for ourselves. Where we have a captive consumption, we have a brand to leverage on, and at the same time, the implant business is likely to grow at 15 to 20% for the next 8 to 10 years. So, it is slightly unorthodox, but, we believe that it is going to do wonders for our group in terms of, adding up to the total revenues over the next 5 to 7 years.
Okay. All right, Shanay, thank you so much for joining us and giving us all those details. So that's the word coming in from Shalby, very bullish on the implants business, can do around 600 to 700 crores in terms of revenues in coming years. The stock is higher by 0.8% as we speak.